Subscribe or bear the hatred of the Uchiha. Wake up to reality.
What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Show with another video, and today we're talking about Hunter x Hunter. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I heard that this game was coming out, but I forgot it was actually a real thing. And there's no detriment to the game, it's just, I mean, as you know, there's been a lot of anime fighters coming out, like a lot. I mean, look, we had Sparky Zero, and that was like a legendary thing, because it was something based off a very old game that people really wanted to go and play again. That's one thing. Then you got Bleach, which comes out in about 9-10 days, depending on when this video releases, and that is going to be big. It's going to be another big one, because for one, Bleach doesn't really have a lot of games in this whole big three. You know, the big three has a lot of games. Even Dragon Ball Z, which is technically outside the big three, they have a ton of games. One Piece has a ton of games, some fighting games and all of that. Naruto obviously has the legendary Storm, and now Bleach is finally getting its just due with a game, and that's taking the forefront right now. And now we have another one. We have Hunter x Hunter, and that's getting a fighting game, and that's interesting because that's also a very top-rated anime. Like, you will not find a lot of people that have bad things to say about Hunter x Hunter. I mean, there are bad things to say, obviously, but more of the fact that it's a really, really good anime. Now, am I saying there's no need for a game like this? No, I'm not what I'm saying at all. And honestly, about Art System Works, I'm really excited to see what they do. And granted, it looks a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom to me. It's got the like the 2D, 3D thing going on, like you see from Marvel. And I can't fault that. I really do like that style of game. I think it's different from a lot of their other gameplay from their other games. Do I think they have the character roster for it? I kind of do. I think they have a lot of interesting, good characters in Hunter x Hunter. There's a lot of potential for characters in Hunter x Hunter, to be really honest, as good fighters. I mean, we have pretty much the main three Royal Guard ants. We have the king himself. We have Netero. We have the assassins. We have obviously our main four, Hisoka, all of the fans and shoot. We definitely have the roster to make a fighting game. That's one thing I would definitely say. I don't think we're lacking in that department. What I will say though is that it looks like it could be like a one and done type of thing. And I seen that they revealed Kite. I haven't seen too much about the game specifically, so I see they revealed Kite. You know, it's probably gonna have to have the Chimera art in it. It'll probably wrap up around the election and all that. Like, it'll probably do all of that. And then whenever the new content for Dark Continent come out or whatever, we'll just have that. But I think this is probably a one and done game. I don't think they're doing any more, simply because of how far they're going into the story. I think for me personally, when you're doing a fighting game, I think you need to be either Arc System Works or you need to be CyberConnect 2. That's just me personally. I mean, I think that's generally the go-to companies when you decide, hey, I want to make an anime game. CyberConnect 2 can make you a nice, solid, good-looking 3D battler type of game with a story that is pretty faithful to its actual counterpart story. I think Art System Works can give you the flashiness, the fluidness, in a very style that, even though it's made a lot of games at this point, it's still kind of unique. And it just looks good. Kind of in the same way that Into the Spider-Verse looks good. Now, I think this comes out in July. I'll definitely be picking it up. Like I said, hopefully the anime comes back. I think the manga has come back. I don't know how deep into that is, but I haven't really heard much about it, so I don't know if it stopped again, but I'm definitely down for that. I feel like I'm at a point where I kind of like, maybe like 1-2 years ago, I'm like, nah, I'll just stop on the anime games. But now at this point, I feel like they're going to keep making cheap anime clones. I would rather at least see one of a franchise I like. They came out with a JJK game, which is last year, but not too long ago, right? I don't know when that game released, but that game was kind of terrible to me. And don't get me wrong, I like JJK, and I don't think the game was actually horrible by any means. I just think that it definitely felt like a classic PS2 game, maybe a little bit better looking, but definitely felt like if you've ever played Zash Bell on PS2, it reminded me of that. Like, these kind of big buildings, you kind of gotta run around the building to find your enemy and stuff. You just hit your moves, try to blast them with these attacks. It definitely felt like, I don't even want to say unpolished, because it felt like maybe that's what they wanted to go with. I just personally hope that this game, which it won't turn into that because of just the type of format that it is. But even looking through some of like the animations and how they use the budget, I think they use the budget pretty well. But there's some animations that I'm like, okay, that looks a little wonky. And not necessarily wonky, but it definitely looks cheap. Like it definitely looks like they didn't want to draw, like it was a scene of Gon using his ultimate, and he just like, it's really hard to explain. But instead of you really seeing him like raise his leg, he just automatically like has his leg in the opponent and just launches them. Like they didn't want to animate him doing that. And I'm not mad at that. That's like a small nitpick, and that's something that I personally wouldn't care about when it comes to like actually playing the game. That's just something I've noticed. Like I definitely can notice that the budget cuts and the budget not being too great, which is crazy to me because I think Hunter x Hunter is a game, or at least a franchise, that deserves to have a high budget game. Fine, you want to give JJK, that game or whatever you want to give. Seven of the Sins a bad game and all of that. That's fine, but I think that Hunter x Hunter, one of the pinnacle of anime, one of the best anime out, deserves a better game. But I get it. Manga sales not really selling right now because it's not really going anywhere right now, right? The anime is all but dried out. They had a remake in 2011, and that was a decade ago. So, I mean, I look at it both ways. I think it's getting a franchise to get games. I think characters are solid. I think playing with the Phantom Troop and Chimera Ants and Kite and all of them is going to be fun. Godspeed Killua, we've seen that too. That's all going to be fun. I think it's a one and done type of game. If they do end up doing more chapters, or they actually get into the chapters we've already seen, there's plenty of potential for DLC. That's an interesting fact. Like, we do have some dark content material, so there is abilities to get like DLC for characters that come out of that, but the moveset won't be super defined, but that definitely is potential for that. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next anime fighting game.